All right, our next guest is called Leon Simons, in English Leon Simons, and he's got his own company and it's called Sunny Simon. And as I understood, it is creating especially solar cookeries in Ethiopia in Africa, where deforestation, the cooking on wood, is a very large problem for the population there. You're going to talk about your own company, about social entrepreneurship, about being social in a global world.
Thank you. I'll first have some of my basic needs. Water. There are some basic needs every human being on this planet has. And one of this is food. I wonder, has any one of you been eating mainly raw food for the past week? I guess not. In Ethiopia, there's some people now eating mainly raw food because they're not able to cook their food. And hundreds of thousands of people eat their food every day still on this. Below this, a lid made of shit, we call it. I call it. They call it akambalu, but it's just a lid made of shit to cover their food. So, what am I going to tell you? Sunny developments in Ethiopia. I'll first try to convince you that 1 + 1 can be 11. And it should be 11. Then I'm going to share some of field experience. I spent the past 6 weeks, about 6 weeks. I just returned last Wednesday. I spent in Ethiopia. I will tell you something about this. And then I will share with you a secret for success, for a successful business. And it might be a quite well-known secret. 1 + 1 is 11. It should be 11. What does it mean? When I passed high school, I started traveling, and what I saw on my travels was mainly this talk will be around cooking mainly because that's one of the primary needs. And what I saw during this travel was people cooking their food on plastic, on wood, on cow dung, and all these toxic emissions. And I saw they're using a lot of wood, so the country is being deforested. And when I saw this, I was like, how can this happen? How can people just cook their food on plastic? I was like, if I smell burned plastic, I run away. It's like toxic. I know I get cancer if I inhale it. And they just cook their food upon it. So I was really like amazed. And then when I got back home and I started visiting conferences and started to try and learn what was happening here, and if I could find a connection between what was happening there and here. And then I visited this conference called World Association of Cities Against Poverty. And I met this one person. He's sitting right here, inventor of a solar cooker called the fortune cooker, which used the power of the sun to cook food. Immediately I thought about these people cooking their food on plastic and all the deforestation I had seen on my travels. And I thought, I saw the connection, I saw the synergy, I saw this, if this invention could go to the people who need it most, we could reduce the deforestation, we could reduce the toxic emissions of those people. Over 2 million people die every year of these toxic emissions just for cooking their food. It's like, for me, I thought there's a big opportunity here. So I started visiting more conferences and started to work with this man to see like how can we get this invention to the people who need it most. And then to the field experience. Last year, I went to Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country in the Horn of Africa. You might have heard about it the past year. Well, people were starving because they didn't have any food to eat. That was mainly in the south. I work in the north. I was working in the north, introducing this fortune cooker. And what you see there is this. You see mainly girls collecting wood. This is a picture I took in the north, in a small village. But it could have been anywhere in the country. Like everyone they cook on this stuff, on wood fuel. I also see these children like, just carrying a bag of cow dung, of shit around, and I was just having a nice walk in the mountains with my strong shoes, of course, and we met this girl, and she was there, and the rope was a bit down, so she was like, it was pounding on her back, so I said, come here, I'll put the rope a bit higher so you can walk more easily. Of course, I would have loved to just take the bag from her, but they would never let you. It's a different world. So this their mainly fuel of everyday use. We just turn the button, we have gas. For 50 years ago, we found a big gas field. We've been using it virtually for free, so we don't have this problem of walking for 4 hours through the mountains with, you could call it shoes, but most people don't even have this kind of piece of plastic underneath their feet. And so this is where they use it for, cooking. This is a high-tech factory where they produce 25,000 of these pancakes a day. 25,000. Doesn't look so high-tech, but this is really the most advanced which you will find nowadays. So there are chimneys, but they don't really work. But this is really the current state of development. But most people, they cook like this. They take some stones, which they just find somewhere near their home. I just found these here. You saw they were working on the road here? So they put them like this. 3 stones fire they use. Gulicha, they call this 3 stone fire. And then they take the big, thick clay plate. Here it's cracked. I tried to take it from Ethiopia. Last time I took one that was entirely shattered. This one has just one crack. So I was lucky this time. So they put it here. So they put all their wood and their cow dung. Oh, wait. Yes, I'll come back to that later. So they take all the wood and the cow dung, they put it here. They stuff it underneath and they make a nice fire. And then they pour some dough after takes about 5 or 10 minutes before this thick clay plate heats up. It's like normally it's an insulator. This is made of gyps even, so it's used to insulate the roof. But they cook on it for thousands of years already. And then they cover it with the lid made of shit. So that's the way they've been cooking for thousands of years. And most people still cook like this. So I thought I work with the NGO called Plan Ethiopia, Plan Netherlands. And they want to have this project Light Up Our Lives. And they want to reduce the biomass consumption with about 80%. And this takes a lot of energy. So I thought we have to use this fortune cooker to cook this food, their basic needs, their food. And in Holland, I'm able to use this small prototype of the fortune cooker to heat my glue wine while I'm ice skating in winter. As long as the sun is shining, of course. So last year I went to Ethiopia. I built a big one because they like their injera. This is a small clay plate, but normally they like it even bigger, about 60 centimeter diameter. So I built a big one with the local people. We wanted to use mainly locally available materials. Work with the local people, of course, and use all the materials that were locally available. I only brought the mirrors mainly, but it didn't work. Why? Because we use the same clay plate, 2 centimeters insulator from below, and the lid made of shit, as you can see, insulated from above. So, quite logical that it didn't work. But the main reason to see whether they need it, of course they need it, and to see whether we can build it with locally available materials and labor, those goals we got. So, oh wait, I think there's a big mistake. So you already found the secret of success. There should be some more pictures, but how many minutes are there left? There should still be some pictures. Yeah, they're trying to work it out. Okay, so what I was trying to do, why I was working with this NGO, why everyone should work if they go to a developing country, why they should work with an NGO, is that this NGO, in this case Plan Ethiopia, they have this entire infrastructure already there. So you can go there and with your solar cooker and say like, hello people, you need this, and you can try to find some people to work with, and you can try to find the right partners. But they have this entire network, they have this entire infrastructure, they have their cars, their everything, which you really need to go to these rural places. Because outside of the city, there's nothing. Nobody has shoes, nobody has bicycle, nobody has anything. Most people only have donkeys, and they walk on bare feet, and they cook their food like this. So you really need some infrastructure, which the NGOs have built up in the past 50 years already. So that's a synergy. You really should find the right people to work with, the right partners, etc. Yes? Okay. So this year I went back to Ethiopia I'll get the clicker. And I was able to cook eggs, rice, and shirwat. That's something they eat with their daily food. Some sauce. Simultaneously, in less than 2 hours, just putting it in the sun and cook the food. So everyone working on solar cooking was amazed, because there are some solar cookers on the market at this moment, but you can only cook one meal. You always have to keep turning it adjusting it to the sun. And this one you can just like leave it. You look where's the sun going. You put it. You have the 3 trays. You just put your food. Of course, sometimes you have to stir, and you can. Most solar cookers you cannot even stir your food because you have to keep it there. Otherwise, you lose some of the valuable energy. This one is working very well. But still, we have this, and this is still the main way of cooking of most people. And that's where all the energy goes. The NGO plan, they want to reduce the energy needs for the people with 80%. We're not going to do it with only cooking some rice and some eggs. We have to really look at the basic stuff, like this one. Like all the energy just evaporate. So it was not possible, because you have to heat the plate. You have to try to get energy into insulated layers. And to make it work, I was first looking at taking a step back and look at how can we first reduce the energy needed with the current state of technology. So with the stones. So I just thought, like, what is this made of? It's made of clay. Clay is like sand, and glass is also made of sand. So why we don't just use this one? I took this from an old oven which was standing there at the compound, not being used for 15 years, and I thought, let's try and use this one, and just see what happens. And today I'm working with the University of Bahar Dar in North Ethiopia. And there's a student, he's been testing it. And he's been testing really scientifically correct, measuring the results of using this plate and using the glass one. And he found that, he just told me this morning, that the glass plate reduces the energy needed with 75%. Just replacing this thick clay plate with glass reduced the energy needed with 75%. So, and if you use a different stove, like instead of the 3 stones, if you just put some cement or some clay to keep the heat inside, you reduce it with another 50%. So at this moment we already can reach the reduction of 80% with the current technology. Just using glass and make some nice clay surroundings instead of the 3 stones, and we can already reach it. Of course, the vision in the future is just reduce all the energy, get to the 100% energy reduction. But this is already nice, a nice profit. See, we could just make this pancake. But we also tried on gas. This is a student, he's doing all the measurements. And SNV, a Dutch NGO, is also introducing biofuel stoves, biofuel domes, and using the gas to cook. And they've been doing this for about 10 years in Ethiopia, and using it for light and using it to cook their shiro wat, which I showed before. But they couldn't make injera. They couldn't make this pancake. So they've been trying and trying for 10 years, and all the time when they were introducing these biofuel stoves, people were like, okay, when can we make our injera? It's like we eat it every day. It's like not being able to cook water or potatoes in Holland. So we just put the glass plate on the gas, and we were able to make the injera. Of course, we have to work on the gas distribution to make it also on 60 centimeters, but we were able to do this. And next, another one, electricity. In the cities, big cities, people use electricity. It uses 3,000 watts of energy. It's really a lot of energy. And I was measuring this clay plate. He turned on this guy. He turned on the energy. He makes these stoves. He turned on the energy. Okay, 3,000 watts going inside. And I was measuring with my infrared thermometer. Nothing happening, nothing happening. After 1 minute, no temperature rise. It just takes so much energy and it doesn't do anything. And the government, they produce a lot of electricity, hydro, but they're just wasting it by trying to make injera, but they're mainly heating a clay plate. So, and they want to sell this electricity. For the people, they sell like 1 cent per kilowatt hour. To the neighboring countries, they can sell it for 40 cents per kilowatt hour. So there's a lot of profit to be made for the government. And now we're going to try to also do this on glass. You know, if you have a glass electricity stove at home, just turn it on and it gets hot. It doesn't take 1 minute before you might see 1 degree of temperature rise. So there's a lot of things to consider, and then you get to the steps where you use the NGO to get to work and to see what's happening and to use their infrastructure, because they know all the governments, they know everything. They've been working there for 20 years. So and the government, they want this, and the local people, this guy, he's an entrepreneur. He builds his stove. You talk with him, you learn from him, you see what's happening, and then you start measuring, and you start working with the universities, and then you get what you need to get a successful business. What you always need is a proof of concept. If you go to a bank, you say, "I've got a wonderful idea."
Sorry, but you're...
Yes. 1 second.
All right.
If you go to a bank and you say, "I have a wonderful idea," they say, "Okay, does it work?" "I don't know, I want to try." They say, "I'll come back when you try." You need the proof of concept. Otherwise, you'll never get the funds you need. You won't be here to talk about your story, which you have only in your mind. You need some sort of proof of concept, and then you can get to the next step, and the next step, and the next step.
All right. Thank you very much. Do I understand it well that it is still in an experimental phase? Your solar cooking. The solar cooking, yeah, you can see it's working, and we're working with partners which already are distributing solar cookers which work less well. And this one I showed you, I built it myself. I spent 3 weeks in the north of Ethiopia looking at where the sun was going, adjusting everything. So this one is indeed in an experimental phase. And also the glass, we just found it. Like I just got these measurements this morning. But do you think the Ethiopian population is also enthusiastic about the experiments, because it changes their way of cooking and it changes their way of life? And it probably also changes the taste of the food. Yes, we tried, of course. The taste is the same.
because it's silicate, and sand is silicate, and the glass is made of silicate, so it's about the same properties, and so the taste and the structure is the same. And it's a good question. And when we were working with this at this university, where the ladies make 25,000 injeras a day, we were working, of course, with these ladies. You need to involve them also. So we asked them, like, okay, let's use this glass plate, and then everything burned. Why? Because it just went too fast. So we told, like, oh, we have to distribute the heat well and still have a little fire. So she makes 600 of these pancakes a day. So she knows what she's doing. And she just tried, and she was really happy. She was really happy because it reduced the time with over 50%. So now they're working 24 hours a day, literally. One day they work, one day they don't work. So they have 24 hours work days. So if they can reduce this with even 6 hours, they will be very happy.
Yeah,
sure.
They will. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think you have to take your shit. I'm sorry.
That's
it's
okay.
a word you use yourself. And an applause.
Thank you.
And good luck.